And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. It's been more than a week since the Houston HISD board voted to keep Principal Tiffany Guillory in place at Jack Yates High School. She was surprisingly removed from the position in December, according to parents and students there. Now, a decision activist Gerry Monroe has refused to stay quiet about. Tonight, Monroe tells Principal Guillory will be returning back to the job at Jack Yates. There were questions about that initially. They rehired her or they kept her on, but we didn't know which school she would be going to. He shared the update with Factor producer and fellow JY alumni, and now we turn it over to Sonora Harris, TV, the Factor producer who handled this interview.
Now we're learning that she will actually return to Yates?
Yes.
How did you learn about that?
I got a call from her. She let me know that they informed the attorney, her attorney, Scott Newell, and that she is free to come back when her FMLA is over, which is February 21st. So according to what she told me, she has to meet with administrators, but they're definitely going to put her back at Yates.
Does she seem excited about coming back?
I think I was more excited than she was. But yeah, she was overly excited, and she was just like, now I can get back to my baby. So yeah, she was ecstatic.
How do you think that parents are feeling about her coming back?
I think the parents are overjoyed. I know that we started having some problems, disciplinary problems with her not being there. So just to have that stable, calming voice in the building, and we can get back to what we were doing, which was making progress, I think that makes the parents more happier than anything.
So what does she have on her agenda that you know of for returning for the new school year?
Well, I think her agenda is the same. We want to move this school in the right direction. You know, we were not a passing school last year. And I know that she had put some things in place with her administrative team that she was working on to try to get us moving in the right direction. So I think she just wants to finish the work that she started at the beginning of the year, which is getting our kids back on track. So I think that's the main thing. She's the easiest person in the world to work for. She's going to demand that you do your job. But, you know, I think the whole staff is that they're in a good place right now. I haven't talked to any of them yet that I normally do. But I think that she just wants to get back to doing what she's great at doing, and she's going to pull it off.
We know throughout this whole fight, from when she was removed from her position, you've been one of the most vocal people about her removal. And as a fellow Jack Yates High School alumna, I graduated in 2008. So we both know how passionate people are about Jack Yates High School. But there is also some criticism about your particular passion and the way you've been fighting this fight, specifically with how you've approached the situation with Millard House. What do you have to say to people who criticize you going to the church and going to his daughter's school?
I would tell them, get over it. As an African-American, I've learned throughout history that everything that we got, we had to either fight for it or die for it. Everything that we got as African-Americans, we either had to fight for it or we had to die for it. So those that have a problem with my approach, with the way that I do things, then I get it. But I mean, it's not going to stop me, because if that was the case, you or I or Isaiah would not be able to eat in our favorite restaurants if some people didn't push the envelope. So for me, I call it applying pressure. And I'm not going to change my approach. I'm easy to work with. I will say that. I can have a conversation with anybody. We can rationalize it. We can do it in a professional setting. But when you just blatantly ignore me, then we have a problem. And as far as the school district goes, I shouldn't have to beg you for what my tax money is already paid for. We want a qualified educator running our school. We want somebody who has some skin in the game, that knows our children and has the passion that it's going to take to move this school. And you know, we want that level of consistency, and we've not had that for a long time. The last two principals we've had have been great. That's Tiffany Guillory and Dr. Kenneth Davis. We were moving in the right direction. So, you know, a couple of times we may have had some hiccups, but at the end of the day, if I go to the school board or if I go to the superintendent and I come respectfully, then I'm not going to sit back and be ignored. You're not going to blatantly ignore me. So when you blatantly ignore me, I call it applying pressure, and I know how to apply it, and I know how to get the results that need to be got.
So would you say that going to Millard House's daughter's school, that's applying pressure?
That's definitely applying pressure, because the way that I look at it, that's one kid that may be uncomfortable. But I got 822 over here at 3650 Alabama that's uncomfortable because their principal is not where they need to be. So the reason that I went, and I can tell anybody, it's a method to my madness, that Millard House does not have a problem going to the affluent white community when there's a problem in a school. He has a problem coming to the African American community to address pertinent issues that affect our kids on a daily basis. So I consider me going to war in this manner. And in war, there will be casualties and there'll be friendly fire. So, you know, I get it. And God knows I did not want to go there. I did not want to make that child uncomfortable. But I know if anybody could talk to her daddy, it would be her. Because if she doesn't like what I'm doing, I know his wife didn't like it. And at the end of the day, I know the community did not like it. So all it takes sometimes is to get some voices to start speaking for you. And I will say that Mr. House, he's sending her back to Yates, so I applaud him for that. I applaud him. You're doing the right thing. Now, will I stop applying pressure because Guillory's back? Nope. Because now we need all the resources that it takes to make her a great principal. We need all the resources that it takes to make our school one of the top high schools in the country. The same school you went to when it was probably one of the top high schools in the country. The same one I graduated from. But if you're not going to give her anything to work with, then guess what? I'm coming back to the school and I'm going to do some more.